Name cover right there. I'm Dustin. This is your Week 8 positional rankings. And as always, if you click on the link in the description, you can see the most updated ones. We will be updating them all the way up until kickoff on Sunday. So be sure to check those out because we shoot them in the middle of the week and things change.
Things do. And one thing that changed, somebody retired this week. And
it's a sad
those
day.
that had been watching us from the beginning, we made the call on Arian Foster.
Loved him.
Loved him. Super early.
Loved him.
He worked out. We made other calls. He was kind of our first guy, our first staple. We have guys coming back saying like, great call. That's why we got him back. So, just want to say, Mr. Foster, and I loved this guy.
It was a good run.
Loved him. It was a good run. I'm going to give you one of those like you do after the touchdowns.
He was arguably the best fantasy player in our era when he was in his prime.
Yeah. There was a good 5-year chunk.
Yeah.
So,
it was a good run.
I love you, Arian.
But let's talk about some quarterbacks. And number 3, Russell Wilson. It's been ugly, and it's obvious he is not 100% healthy, and it really hurts that overall offense with him just having to stay in the pocket. But it's New Orleans, right? Like, this is the matchup that gets him going again. You got to think so. You're starting him unless you have a very good other option. There might be some where you have to flip a coin, but you got to like the upside this week.
All right, and I'm going to talk about at number 6, Drew Brees. Same game, obviously, playing Seattle. And people always get scared of Seattle, and I understand why. It's a solid defense. But the thing about Brees that's so great, their defense, to Dustin's just point, is so bad that he's on the field, has to throw the ball a ton to make it work out. So don't do anything cute, right? He's been playing great. There's a ton of weapons. I see this being a fairly high-scoring game, even though Seattle's defense is solid.
It's so hard. Looking at Russell, you could arguably start Luck, Ryan, Brees, or Newton.
You could.
But you can put those guys in any combo.
Yeah, you just don't have the confidence in Russell, but if he's going to do it.
It's going to be this week.
It's going to be this week.
Let's take a look at running backs. Oh, and everyone's new favorite person, if you own him, Devontae Booker. This is a guy we loved coming into the year. And I had him in so many leagues. And,
all right, talk about him. I've already been shrink name coding you.
Hey,
I think you drafted him in every real league, right?
No, I had him in like 3 or 4 leagues, but now I only have him in 1. It makes me sad. But anyway, looks like he's going to get a shot, at least for the short term. C.J. Anderson's banged up. Booker's going to be the guy. He was already starting to get more carries and more touches in general. He's looked great. Put him in your lineup. You're happy. You got him. He's going to be a nice, at least short-term guy and could have value for the rest of the year.
I think he takes the job and goes with it.
It was already kind of going that way.
Yeah, so it just opens the door completely.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to talk about Jacquizz Rodgers, and who would have thought that he would have been ranked where he is here? It's just coming into the year. Fantasy football's nuts. But the thing is, he's getting so many touches. It's like 30 every week, and there's no reason to think he won't. I don't know if he's going to do that many, but there's no reason to think he won't get at least 20, probably closer to 25. Oakland's defense isn't, absolutely terrifying. It's not the scariest thing, so, it's just a volume play. I like Rodgers for that reason.
Let's move into the next 20. I'm going to talk about Jordan Howard at 25. Now, here's a guy that he's definitely seen his stock go from low or to mediocre to crazy high. And now it's way back down to earth. Carey has been getting a lot of touches out there, and Langford's probably going to be back this week, and they're playing Minnesota. So if you can stay away from Howard, and I think they have their bye, I believe they have their bye next week as well. If you can trade Howard right now, I probably would. If you can still get any type of decent value for him, you may have already missed the boat. It might be too late, but you're probably not starting him this week unless you have to, and then he's got a bye, so he might not have value after, nearly as much value after the bye.
Exactly. All right, I'm going to talk about Chris Thompson of the Washington Redskins, and these are standard rankings, but I want to highlight the PPR aspect of him. He's clearly better in a PPR league, but with the Matt Jones fumbling problems, we assume we're going to see more Thompson, and a sneaky guy is Kelly. There's a chance that Kelly might overtake Jones as the starter, but it looks like it could be turned more into a mess out there. But regardless, I do see Thompson as a guy that's going to catch the ball a decent amount, so he has a chance for a decent volume in a PPR league and okay in standard. That's why I have him ranked as so.
So many messes.
It's been a tough running back year.
Many messes at running back. It's so many three-headed monsters.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
It's like, can't even just give me a two-headed monster. It's gotta be
Can you give me a 1-2?
it's gotta be three guys. Let's take a look. Moving to the receivers. I want to talk about DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, this has just turned into a nightmare for his owners. I mean, Osweiler comes over and you think it's an upgrade, but it hasn't really helped him very much. Not at all, actually. But with the matchup against Detroit, you gotta think you gotta stick with him. I mean, I know it's hard. I know you're gonna be looking at your bench receivers and maybe thinking about putting one in instead of Hopkins, but I think you're sticking with Hopkins again. It's hard not to start him.
And so that one's the one that you're like, you're not feeling good about. I'm gonna talk about somebody you're excited about if you got on your team. That's Ty Montgomery. The Packers offense has just looked more fun with him playing, and by the way, we haven't ranked in receiver, but some leagues do give him running back eligibility. Apparently, some other ones are waiting for the Packers to actually list him as a running back.
Just do it!
So, and Dustin's really hoping it happens. But regardless, the thing you love about him is the volume that he's getting. They're using him in kind of sneaky ways. They're targeting him quite a bit. He is running out of the backfield as well. So if there's a lot of buys this week, if he's on the wire, he's a great, absolute great plug and play. Go get him no matter what if it's on the wire.
If anyone knows the person in charge of the Green Bay depth chart, tell them, just listen as a running back. What's it gonna hurt?
Yeah, just throw the RB on there.
What's it gonna hurt? Will Fuller, I want to talking about both Houston receivers. Again, it's been ugly, but they have had some tough matchups. And again, Detroit, not the scariest of matchups. Will Fuller's actually been huge at home this year. So that could be just with Osweiler, maybe he's just having a hard time on the road. But Fuller, big play potential every time he steps out on the field. He should be 100% healthy now. Not minding Fuller this week. It's just a high upside gamble.
All right, I'm going to talk about LaFell of Cincinnati. And keep in mind, this is a 9:30 Eastern start. They're playing overseas, across the pond if you would. But the thing I really like about LaFell is the fact that A.J. Green demands so much attention that LaFell has, some games are not that great, but he does have big blow-up potential. And this could be, again, one of those weeks. It's a very banged up secondary for the Washington Redskins. So if there's coverage on A.J., he's going to have one-on-one against not the greatest corners in the world. So definitely a potential he finds the end zone. I love him as a bye-week replacement.
And he could have value. LaFell's never really been in a great situation.
No, that's true.
Carolina, and then with New England, it's
you just never figured out New England.
A nice situation in theory, but they spread the ball around so much. It could work out.
He's been looking okay. He's had a couple weeks.
All right, tight end Jack Doyle. I want to talk about number 7. The guy's legit. And I talked about him on Waiver Wire Show. I like this guy. Keep a close eye on the reports on Dwayne Allen. I mean, I don't think he's going to play, but you never know. So if Allen plays, it makes Doyle a little bit trickier, but I still think he would still probably be in our top 10 or right just outside of it. But Jack Doyle has looked good. Standard leagues, touchdown potential is huge.
I think Allen's lost his job. I don't see why not.
But there'll still be targets going.
No, there will, but I
think at this point Doyle is the guy to
right.
own, even when Allen comes back. But.
All right, at number 12 we got Jordan Reed. Apparently I love the London game, so because I'm talking about defense as well. So Jordan Reed, he's ranked at number 12 right now. I think he gets out of the concussion protocol. I do think that he plays, but it's not a lock. If he does play, and there won't be limited snaps or anything like that, he's going to move up, probably number 4, 5-ish, so keep that in mind. But if he does not play, put Vernon Davis then in the top 15. So if you're owning both of them right now, because I know a lot of Reed owners picked up Vernon Davis, you got to hold on to that. But whoever plays, so if Reed does play, you keep Reed in, then you drop Davis for like a running back or somebody with upside, because again, it's the early game. So a little sneaky kind of action right there.
Those 9:30 games are tough. I'm glad I don't live on the West Coast.
Oh, that would be the 6:30 game. It's just
you'd have to wake up just to check your lineup. That Julius Thomas late scratch, you know that kills the people on the West Coast. Defenses, I want to talk about Tennessee.
The Vikings?
You know Brent wants to talk
I love the Vikings.
They're going to have a big week with Jay Cutler back there.
Monster week.
But Tennessee...
And it's Monday. Oh, it's so fun.
Everyone's going... I think people are going a little too crazy about Tennessee this week. I mean, it is Jacksonville. They have been terrible. But it's the Thursday night games. You never can really tell with those. And Tennessee has had some really good matchups over the last couple of weeks, and they haven't really been all that great. The sacks have been decent for some games. I think they had 6 sacks 2 games in a row, 2 weeks ago. But Obviously we like them. They're in our top 5, but you know, if you have Kansas City or the Patriots or Denver, I still think I would go with those guys.
And number 7, I really do like the Cincinnati Bengals this week, and I think the Bengals defense have not been playing up to their potential. The pressure they can get alone with the front four is pretty impressive, and you know, Geno Atkins is a beast, and once they start blitzing, I think the way that you attack the Redskins is you blitz Kirk Cousins early and often. I think they're going to get a decent amount of sacks this game. I think, you know, we're in DC out here, so the DC fans are going to hate it, but I think Cincinnati ends up crushing them. I just got a gut feeling, dominating them on both sides of the ball.
That'll be. I haven't really been excited about the London games, but
that's a fun one.
I think that one will be fun. There's some fantasy implications there, but so that's week 8. Check it out, the updated rankings. Click on the link in the description. Get the forms if you got any questions.
Arian, love you, buddy. Love you, buddy.
It was a good run.
Love the bow. Every time we did the bow, I would do the bow with him.
He was so good.
I owned him. I literally owned him.
And look at
I even owned him this year. I have owned him since we started loving him.
Go back and look at his stats when he was in his prime.
Oh,
if
sick.
you don't remember.
And in a PPR, it's nasty.